Alright, so we're going to go over mixed media collage art, okay? First I want to start by saying, before we get into this, the way that this video is going to kind of go, it's going to kind of go in sections, okay? I'm not going to show you all the medias up front on what you're going to need, because it's going to take a little time to kind of go through everything, but I can definitely tell you the one material that you are going to need throughout almost all of these, okay, is a couple of pieces of scrap paper, okay? So you're probably going to need that, as well as either a glue sponge, which, by the way, what you do when you first get it is you take it, you flip it over, okay? And how we use a glue sponge is actually you take a piece of paper, you kind of just stick it on there, gets all the glue, and you just glue it down, okay? Real quick and nice and easy. That is one option, or you can use a glue stick, either one. But those are your two basic ones. Other than that, you're just going to have to watch each individual video, which are just going to kind of go one after another to figure out what materials you're going to need, okay? Alright, so mixed media collage. A collage is a piece of art that incorporates a variety of materials. It often involves gluing things like paper, cloth, or found objects to create a final image, okay? The exclusive use of photos in collage is called a photomontage. All right, so there are different ways that we can use actual collages. All right, so sometimes it looks like this, where we've taken a whole bunch of different pieces of paper to kind of morph them together. Okay, or it might be that I'm cutting apart pieces of magazines or photos or images, printed images, whatever, and kind of piecing together different pieces to make it. So like if I cut out a window, I use it as a window. Okay? Alright. So some artists find that this form of art can be limiting, and they want more opportunities to express their art while being able to incorporate some aspects of it. Okay? So let's step in mixed media. So mixed media is art form in which more than one medium can be applied. Okay, so it's more than just paper. It says mixed media collage allows the artist to be able to push the boundaries of collage in new and exciting ways. So when we have this extra element in, okay, so for example here, all right, this is probably a drawing on top or some kind of image that has been superimposed on top of a collage papers. All right, so what they're able to do is so much more. Okay, so sometimes people just use the collage effect in the background, or they might use it to benefit. So like right here, this is actually a collage with drawing and painting on top of it. Okay, all right, so as I said, so what we're going to do is for each one of these, okay, there's going to be a little bit of an introduction for each one to tell you what material you're going to use, and then you're just going to go as along, all right? I'm doing it this way because honestly it's a lot easier if you're stuck in the middle of cleanup, okay, and you have everything out. Instead of having to go put everything away, you only have a few things to put, okay? All right, so let's get going. All right, so for this first little exploration in collage, okay, you're going to need just a couple of color pieces of paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to layer paper. I know it doesn't sound too exciting, but when you layer paper, it actually gives it a little bit more I don't know, depth, and it just brightens stuff up. It has not such a flat image, so I want to show you. So what you're going to do is you're going to layer 3 pieces on top. Okay, so it looks like this. Now, let's put that there. So we're going to glue this down. Now, let me tell you, this has a little bit more excitement to it, okay, by adding more on here. So let's imagine this to be almost like a tree, okay? So if this is a tree and we added extra details on here, notice how we've almost created a depth in here, all right? It's not so flat, all right? Now, I'm going to use a glue stick because it kind of goes fast. But you can use the glue sponge because the glue sponge is awesome. Alright, so by layering, we can create a sense of depth. Okay, which is pretty cool. Alright, so when you're working in this format, don't just, pick one color. Add a few more, alright? Give it a little bit more excitement to it, okay? So that's all you need to know for that one. Now, for the next one, we're going to use something similar, okay? We're going to have the same amount of paper, okay? But if you can, pause it and go grab a piece of small tissue paper and a small newspaper, okay? Now, what's the difference between this one and this one? This one's a little bit more random, okay? So let's cut out a few pieces, okay? Now, layering or overlapping kind of reminds you more of like a patchwork, okay? Like on a quilt. Kind of like things are all kind of haphazardly. Some people like this as a background. Some like this as part of, you know, filling in a space, all right? It's not so organized, all right? So we have our things that we've got going on here. Actually, I'm going to use one more. All right, so let's just kind of glue these down and see what we got. All right. Writing, a very cool way of including texture, okay, without actually making texture, okay? And by the way, there's no right or wrong way of putting these words, so if I wanted to, I could totally put them on an angle. I could put them upside down. All depends. When you're doing tissue paper, by the way, best solution is very carefully, okay, putting it on glue, sponge, very carefully because it's very thin, and on. This actually creates a transparency, which is very nice, okay? All right, so let's add this. Ooh, can you hear the band? They're sounding good. Let's put this here. And then we'll have one more. I don't know, I feel it goes up there. Okay? Now, as I said, overlapping is a little bit more haphazard. Kind of looks like patchworks, kind of like we put a whole bunch of patches. This might be a background. This might be something where, let's say you're designing something, and inside of something you want it to be a little bit more chaotic with the stuff that's in it, okay? Where the last one is more organized and it's building up, almost creating depth, okay? So we've got those two. All right, now on to the next one. All right, so for this one, you're going to need some paper. You're going to need, obviously, your scissors and your glue, okay, markers, and a pen, all right? So what we're going to do is we're kind of going to go over the whole idea of where does drawing mediums go when we're dealing with collage, okay? So a couple of shapes. We've got, you guys know, your geometric shapes, okay? Geometric shapes, remember, are your solid shapes. Your recognizable shapes, those shapes that have, names, okay? We also have the shapes that, they don't have names because they're kind of like these weird, crazy shapes, have no definition, kind of like squiggles and wiggles and all over the place, like amoebas, if you know what amoeba is yet. Now, I'm making these look like they're going under, okay? So I'm going to have one here. Go over here. Beautiful. All right. Now, as you can see, if I was making a drawing, I could easily put on stuff on top. Okay. Draw everything. How does collage work within? All right. So let's cut a couple of shapes. All right. I don't know. All different shapes. And we'll do one more, all right? And I'll show you how it kind of can accent it, or it can just blend in, all right? So, almost. Let's see if we can get one to fit. Now, easily, we could take this and we can glue it to be inside, you know, so it's kind of like covered there, all right? We can make them be hiding, you know, stuff. So, like, there will be something on top, okay? We can make these be accents in certain areas. So I'm going to put this one over here. Okay. Ooh, I got this one. Let's see. Let's put this one in. Where can we stick this one? All right. Here. All right. So right now it just covers everything up. But we kind of want them to blend in with our artwork, not necessarily stand out. That's where the next layer comes on. Okay. So I can easily take this and I can include this in so it looks like it's more blending in than standing out. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. See how all of a sudden they start to blend in. Starts not to like pop out as much. All right. Oh, I need that blue right in here. So it starts to really go in. Now, if you really glue these all the way down, it becomes as if there's like one solid piece. Now, I can also go on top of this and add to it, all right? So let's say, for example, in these spaces, I wanted to just accent a little bit more. Oh, that's really it. Let's add something here. We'll do polka dots. Why not, right? Ooh, this is all inside. Right? See how all of a sudden it starts feeling like it's part of it instead of being just thrown down, okay? So when you're doing collage, you can add your drawing materials underneath. You can add this on top, okay? And then add on top of it as well, okay? Kind of like a sandwich, okay? All right, that's all we need to know for this one and how we can incorporate drawing materials with the idea of cutting paper and collage. Okay, so for this next one, you just need a piece of paper and some kind of marker or drawing material, okay? So we're going to start off by actually drawing some crosses and cross-hatching, all right? Putting some designs. I know, it's starting to fade out. Well, let's see. Maybe my pen is a little bit more. All right. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create some kind of image or design or texture that's going to be behind, okay? All right. So we created it in our space, all right? All right, negative and positive space. How does that work out when we have something? Now, if you've done the stamping and the stenciling one, okay, you're probably going to have a similar effect on this, okay? So when we did our stencils, we know that we had a mask and we had the stencil. Well, we're kind of creating the same thing here. So I'm going to go in, cut out an image. I don't know. I have no idea what this image could be. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird. I don't know. It kind of looks like a duck. Its head down. Who knows? Okay. So we have the stencil part, which we know is the outside, all right? This is our negative space, our empty space, okay? So our empty space is being concealed, or not concealed, is being brought out because we're covering the outside, okay? This would be our mask, which is our positive space, okay? Let's do it the other way. There we go, all right? So great for like silhouettes and stuff like that to cover over a space there. So if you were designing something in the background, you could totally cover over it. And remember, you could always draw on top of it, okay? But see how it kind of gives a different effect? How this covers the outside, okay? And this exposes the outside just by using negative and positive, okay? Beautiful. And that's all you really need to know on how we can work that. All right, so for this one, you're going to need two different colored pieces of paper and a hand punch, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how hand punches, okay? And by the way, hand punches come in all different ways, okay? They're all different ways. How they can add details as well, kind of like in this manner. So we're going to take one color. I'm just going to put that down, all right? Because I want to show you. And I want you to cut out some kind of shape. Okay, I'm going to actually fold this because I'll make a flower. Ta-da! Pretty cool, right? Now this looks okay, right? Well, if I take a hole punch and I add some negative spaces in it, okay, all right, I can use this new punch out, all right, as details. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to show you what it looks like when we go on top and below. So I'm going to have it just go over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little dots and I'm going to place them on top of here. Okay, what's going to happen is these are now going to become details, all right? So we can take our punch out, instead of them being like covering area, they can actually be like details for things, okay? Pretty cool, right? So instead of us just wasting them, we can actually include them. Make this look a little bit more exciting. Love the details. Okay. All right. So as you can see, negative and positive space for both of them do really, it can do a lot of things, okay? It can cover the background. It can make the background stand out. We can also make it work for us within the design as well. Okay, let's get to the next one. Okay, so our next two boxes, you're gonna need some paper, okay? You're gonna need some fancy scissors, regular scissors, and your glue, okay? So this is all about how we're gonna cut things, all right? So the first one, okay, traditional cutting with our scissors, it's absolutely fine, okay? Some people like that look, so let's kind of compare it. All right. Now, pretty good, nice, straightforward. Now, if you plan on dressing it up a little bit more, now you can do waves. We could also, by the way, don't forget, you can layer on top. Okay. Just doing fancy different cutting, okay? Now the other way you might want to do this, okay, is by doing, there they are, fancy cuts. Now here's the thing, when you're working with this, you see how that has a design to it? You want to make sure you line up somewhere within your scissor that continues that actual cut, okay? So it doesn't look like it's disjointed, all right? So this is another way of us cutting the edge. We could actually layer that too, but I'm not going to. Okay, our next one, I'm gonna clean up this edge, or should we just leave it? I clean up. Is tearing. Tearing has a nice way of creating like this really cool effect, okay? All right, very cool. Now, one thing I did not make mention in the beginning that I would like you to do is I'd like you to go get an a soft pastel, okay? So if you need to, pause it, absolutely fine. What I want to show you is actually a texture that not only creating the edges, okay, you can also go on top of it. All right, this gives a really cool look. Okay, you can go on the edges. I'm going to show you the other one. You can just blend it down. It gives you all neat looks. So all of a sudden that flat, color gets a little bit more spiced up. Okay, pretty cool. All right. Okay, so that is one. Now, how does the other one work? All right, to explode. Kind of sounds weird, right? All right. Whew. So what we're going to do is I want you to cut out a piece of, like a square. And what we're going to do is, if you can imagine like an image on here, you could take this and break it apart. It doesn't have to be all in one solid space. So how do we explode it? Well, you're breaking it apart in however way you want. Okay? So for example, I can make swirls, whatever. But it turns out to be like a jigsaw puzzle. See how that looks? All of a sudden everything's kind of like broken apart and you have this beautiful emptiness in it, okay? Now, you could create, if you can grab a pen, designs underneath here. Okay. We could take, grab an oil pastel too. We can get that kind of that faded look. How you do that is you actually smush that to the side. You're like, oh, it's not working. I will just add enough and you can get that look. Okay. You could have taken an image and drawn it originally. Okay. And be disjointed, so maybe all this is like little fish. Oop, there's glue on that. Can I see how that works? Under the ocean, yeah. But it just adds another layer of excitement in what you can do with cutting paper. Okay? All right, so let's move on to the last two. Okay, so for the next two, what you're going to need to do is you actually need to get a couple of magazines, okay, and get a couple of images. So what you're going to look for is you're going to build an image in the first one, okay, and then we're going to kind of piece things together with this one. So what is a photomontage? A photomontage, I'm going to move this to the side, is kind of placing images that you are kind of like found images in a space that you want to build, okay, that doesn't exist. So for example, I'm going to build, these are from different pictures, actually different magazines as well, okay, and I want to build this. So the skater kind of is going here, it's going to look like he's got something in front of him, okay. And when you do this, how you cut is very important, okay. So you notice how clean my cuts are? Alright, so I want to show you some place that I purposely didn't cut nice. See how this looks jagged? Okay? It really stands out when you have it against something that's opposite colors, okay, or contrasting colors. So when you're working with cutting out with scissors, make sure that all your edges are perfectly clean before you... Ooh, that's actually kind of cool. But I want to do the other one. Alright. So we're using images to build a finished image, okay? So this is Photomontage. It's when we take layered printed images and we make our new image from here. Now, how does this all work together? All right, so you're gonna get regular piece of paper, okay? And get two images. So we're gonna combine these. What does it look like when we put it all together? Actually, you know what? Let's do an exploded at the back. Okay. Alright, so I've got one. I'm going to explode the back. Put this as my base. Okay. Kind of like something down here. I have an image. Okay. I'm going to place that right here. Now, this is how everything works together, okay? So for this one, you need images. You also kind of need a couple of things that you're going to draw with to put on top. So when I add details, this is now where that mixed media collage is coming from, okay? All right, it's where I can use my papers, draw on them, create an image, okay, to do different things on top of it. All right. Now you're probably going to find that some things work nice, some things don't work so nice. Okay. I don't know. Let's go this way and let's do this one. Okay. So this is how it kind of all comes together. Okay. So I want you to create something. It doesn't have to be perfect over here. When you're done with this. Okay. So we just went over what does it look like when we take magazines and we cut them apart. Okay. You can do this. This is an option when you do regular collage. This is how we bring it into the actual, okay, mixed media collage art, okay? It's when we take different elements, whether they're images, you're building the image with different materials, okay, and you're adding the drawing element, okay? On the back. Woo! Stop. Here's what you're going to put it together in a space. Using the little papers that you got around, absolutely fine, and the materials that you have, all right? What I want you to do is put it together. So now that you have explored with various ways to develop a collage, now it's your time to come up with something on your own in the space below. Space below. Okay? Create a mixed media collage with a decorative background using at least 3 different techniques. Something that we saw in here, okay? And incorporate either a drawn or printed image as your focal point. Kind of similar to the bird. So it kind of has some kind of design background. There's an image. I believe this image is actually drawn on it because it is an option. You don't have to necessarily do a cutout, and so that's up to you, okay? This should not take you more than 5-10 minutes. If it is, you're now creating a focus project, and I don't want you to do that. I just want you to explore with this. So when you're done, just take this and copy it or take a picture into Seesaw, and this unit is done.